Hey, welcome to O'Brien Builds. I'm Gregory O'Brien, and this is what I'm working on. What I've got here is my drawer boxes for my laundry storage. I need one more, exact same size. So I'm gonna run through the process of how I made them and give a quick rundown. Now that I've got all of my drawer pieces ripped down to size, I'm going to come back along here with my table saw and do a saw cut about halfway through and 3/8 of an inch up from the bottom. So that's going to look something like this. And that slot there is going to hold my drawer bottom in place. And also be large enough to prevent that from splitting out the bottom of the drawer. So since I'm not doing dovetails or notches, the way I stack these together is pretty important. There's going to be a lot of pressure on the front of any drawer box. Every time you pull it out, all that pressure is going on this front piece. Particularly with soft close slides, you're going to have to pull out past that mechanism. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on this front. So what I did is I put my front piece in between my side pieces, same on the back as well. And then you can see I came back in and added a peg there. So the next step here is going to be determining what size my drawer bottom is going to be. So what I'm going to do is turn this one upside down, just so we've got that same pattern here. I've got my front and back pieces go like this, and then my side pieces. Since these side pieces run full length, I'll take one of those. It's 17 inches long. I know both of my side pieces are 1/2 inch, so I'm working with the interior of the box is going to be 16 inches, and then both of my grooves are going to add a 1/4 inch onto that. So my drawer bottom depth is going to be a total of 16 and technically 16.5 inches, but I'll keep it just a little bit shy of that because it will probably be tight. For figuring out my width, to take one of my front and back pieces, and remember the piece we used to set our depth on the table saw? I'm going to take twice the width of that, add it to the length of my front piece, and that is going to give me the overall width needed for that drawer bottom. So now that I've got all of the different parts of my box, I've got my bottom pieces, my top piece, my drawer bottom, I'm going to come through and sand all of my interiors, working with 80 grit, 120, and 220. I'm going to go all the way down to 220 on the interior. On the exterior of the box, I'm not going to worry about it at all. My box is a little bit wide. I'll be able to slim it down just using 80 grit. Also, that'll just help smooth out any differences in the seams around the edge and make it look like one complete unit. Alrighty, we're all set for assembly here. I've got wood glue and 3/4 inch brads. So on the glue, normally I'd say you can't put too much wood glue on. However, since I went through all this work of sanding the inside, I'm gonna go light on the glue just because I don't want anything dripping out onto the interior corners, because that'll be a pain to clean out later. There we go. We've got a complete drawer box. If I wanted to, I could use this as a top drawer, a little slimmer. I've got some of those in the van, in which case I would move on to sanding the outside. From here on out, it's pretty much exactly the same as building our bottom drawer. We're just going to be gluing along the bottom, nailing the corners, and then we'll let it sit overnight to let that glue dry. Alright, now that we're all sanded up, I'm going to come back through and put the pegs in my corners. Before I was using doweling from Home Depot, but I actually ran out of that with the last set of boxes I did. So what I'm going to do instead is just cut a square peg, soft pine like this, having that glue around on the square parts of the peg. It's actually going to be stronger. We got a 3/16 bit going into something that's about, I mean, it's less than 1/2 inch now. So we don't have a whole lot of wiggle room, but still I'm going to put these in at an angle and get that hole as far away from the edge as I can so that it won't split out. Now that we've done the sanding, I'm going to bring it over, clean it out, and then put my stain on. I'm using this oil-based waterproofing wood finish. It's a transparent, so it doesn't really add any color to the wood other than bringing out the underlying color in the wood itself already. I went with the outdoor version just because I wanted that extra layer of, or that added protection, just because the environment in the van isn't going to be as stable as what you would get like inside your house. Putting the stain on is the most straightforward part. One thing I found when I was doing a whole bunch of boxes at once, I didn't have time to grab a brush, brush it on, all of that. So quick and easy, just dump in more than you need. Spread it around by hand, and there's going to be more on there than what I want, but part of the reason I'm doing it this way is I want to just put a bunch of stain on there, let it sit for a few moments, like a few minutes, and then I'll come back and wipe off the excess. Come over to your table saw, grab a scoop of sawdust, and good to go. The final step to the box build here is putting your slides on. So these are 16-inch soft close that I found on Amazon. They're two-part. So this part goes on the box. This part is going to go in the cabinet. I put them at the bottom. That's what you see typically. It's probably the strongest configuration because it's right near to the bottom of the box where all of that weight is getting transferred from the drawer box bottom to the walls. I also lined mine up so that when I put this half of the slide in the cabinet, I know exactly where the bottom of my drawer is going to be. So you can mount these into any space. Each one of these slide assemblies adds ½ inch to the outside of the box. If you have an area that you're going to add boxes to, you just subtract 1 inch to get the size of your box. I will be doing a follow-up video at some point about the system I'm using here, but that'll be something else.